Rob, and Ram. Nobody asked, but we give you our opinions. Acknowledge us like Roman Reigns to all his minions. Coming from the grave like our name was Undertaker. Women's wrestling is cool, but where the hell is Britt Baker? Coherence takes abandon all hope. We talk shit like Ricochet from the top rope. We are marks, sometimes we're friendly. Sometimes we show our whole ass like Mandy. We are discussing what is the latest. Jericho is the GOAT, but Sid is our favorite. We are marks. We are marks.
What's going on, Marks? Welcome back to the podcast. It's the We Are Marks podcast. Why? Because we are Marks. I am your host. My name is Ram, Rob, and Bob. What's going on, gentlemen?
What's going on, America?
Ho, ho, ho.
And let us be the first to wish you a very Merry Christmas, although you're probably hearing this after Christmas, so let us be the last to wish a very... On today's episode, it's one of our favorite episodes of the year. It's the annual Marky Awards being handed out to so many terrific and awful professional wrestlers. Before we get to the Markies, however, we do have an AEW pay-per-view this weekend. AEW's World's End. I guess it probably takes place the last Saturday of every year. I guess that's probably the plan. It's probably what it's called. I mean, it's better than day one, that's for sure. So we're going to predict that show before we get to the Markies. So if you would do me the pleasure of predicting this first match, which we have Chris Statlander defending the AEW Women's World Championship against Jamie Hayter. I had to double check my list to make sure that was correct.
Yeah, I am gonna go with Statlander here. I think the run's been good. I do think it's gonna lead to a match eventually with Mercedes. So I think Statlander gets the win. But I do like Jamie Hayter. I like what they're been doing with her. I don't think right now is the time for her to win.
Yeah, I feel like Jamie Hayter's the same person. She's just wearing, Austin Powers outfits now. I'm taking Statlander. I agree with everything Bob said. Mercedes Moné is going to go into a downward spiral and win that title to eventually take on Toni Storm. So Statlander wins this one.
Fair enough. I think there's going to be a really solid, hard-hitting match between these two women, and it's exactly what you need to continue the Statlander run as champion. As you guys said, I guess to eventually lose to Mercedes. Although, I don't know. I feel like Mercedes should beat Toni Storm. That's just my opinion. Regardless of that, it should still be Statlander walking away as the champion. And I think that's what's going to happen. I do expect a good match, though. So I'm looking forward to it. Babes of Wrath. Those are your AEW Women's Tag Team Champions, Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron, defending those championships against Mercedes Moné and Athena.
Yeah, I think I like the fact, getting Athena on the AEW pay-per-view. I'd like to see him do more with her. I think she's done a nice job on ROH, but unless you're hopping on YouTube or wherever you can watch ROH, you probably don't see a lot of her. I think the Babes of Wrath get the win, continue to establish themselves as the champions. To Rob's point, it seems like Mercedes has already lost some belts, so I don't expect her to pick up any this weekend. But it's a good first match for them too. Should be a good match.
So I'm actually thinking about this, and I might be giving AEW a little too much credit here, but what if this is to get Athena on programming a little bit more so she wins that TBS title from Mercedes Moné? I'm taking the Babes of Wrath, but I think there's going to be a storyline coming out of here between Athena and Mercedes Moné where Athena will eventually take that title from her. So Babes of Wrath it is, with a side plot.
That sounds like a great side plot. If I'm honest, obviously, get Athena on TV. For the love of God, we see so many terrible women wrestling that when we have a good, one of the best, like Athena, pigeonholing her on ROH is a crime, and it's about time. So if that's the route that ends up happening, that's terrific. Regardless of that, for this match's sake, makes no sense for Mercedes to win a championship right now, considering she's actively losing her championships. So the babes got to win. Give me the babes, the bubbliest duo in all of wrestling. FTR defending the tag team championships against the Bang Bang Gang. Which members of the Bang Bang Gang are in this match?
Gun and Juice.
Is the other Gun still hurt? Is
I think so.
Okay.
I like that Juice is starting to look like Juice again too, after it's shaved and
After the clean shaved Juice,
yes, didn't like that.
that looked like Elias's brother. What was his name?
That's
Ezekiel?
like when you go to the grocery store and they got that like 1% juice. I want 100% juice. That's what we're getting right now. Like, this is the juice I like. But no, I think FTR wins. I like the Bang Bang Gang. I think they're great. You know, the tag team division in AEW is strong, and they're a good option. But I don't see a title change here. I think FTR is going to continue to go into 2026 after a great 2025. Strong.
FTR wins. I do have this weird suspicion, though, that Adam Copeland's going to appear, and we're going to set up Adam and Christian against FTR in the near future.
More on my feelings on that prediction to come a little bit later during the Marky Awards. However, much like the other two title matches that we've already discussed, it's just FTR just won these titles. Taking them off FTR right now would be incredibly stupid. So FTR must win, and if they don't, I might riot. I don't know. That's what they say.
Figure it out later.
If they take them off, the Jags better win on Sunday.
And 6 in a row. Okay, a returning Darby Allin, who I back from the dead pretty quickly, considering he dropped out of the Continental Classic. Convenient he comes in after the preliminaries are over, huh? Okay, Darby, chicken shit. Anyway, he's taking on Gabe Kidd.
Yeah, this is I said a couple weeks ago. He climbed Mount Everest. He climbed the Death Riders. Now he's climbing his way back down. And I think the last leg of this looks like Gabe Kidd. I think it doesn't make a lot of sense for Darby to lose, especially coming back from that injury. So I think Darby gets the win, but Gabe Kidd's on the list. There's a lot on AEW, but he's another one I'd like to see him do more with in 2026.
When did Darby Allin become Bobby Lashley that he gets, special booking like this? I'm taking, I don't know. This match is pointless to me, but Darby Allin's going to do something with a skateboard that's probably cool. So we'll take Darby Allin.
It is incredibly pointless. And the only person who I think needs to win a match less than Darby Allin is Gabe Kidd. Don't give two flying shits about that Lars Sullivan knockoff. Darby Allin's going to win. That's giving me a reaction, because at first you guys didn't react, and I was like, I thought that was gold.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of forgot what Gabe Kidd looked like. And then when you said that, I'm like, yeah, he kind of does. It took a while for my mind to get the vision of Gabe Kidd in there.
All right, guys.
Well, at first I kind of remembered Lars Sullivan, and then I had a little PTSD.
Yeah, sorry about that. All right, guys. The Continental Classic. Pardon my flickering lights. I don't know what is happening, but Continental Classic semifinals and finals both taking place on this show. So we have two matches and then a championship. Give me who you think's going to win the semis and who's going to win the finals. Fletcher and Moxley, Takeshita and Okada.
I think Okada is going to beat Takeshita. I think we will probably get the big split up. I think the Don Callis family gets involved. Okada gets the win. I think Kyle Fletcher beats Jon Moxley. Don't really think it makes a lot of sense with Moxley's story to have that much success to get to the finals. And then I think Kyle Fletcher is going to dethrone Okada, Continental slash TNT slash whatever else gets tied into the Continental champion.
I am going to take Takeshita beating Okada cleanly. I am going to take Fletcher beating Moxley, which means on Dynamite, Claudio's and Pac are finally going to have enough and beat the crap out of Moxley. And I think Don Callis screws Takeshita in the finals against Kyle Fletcher, and Kyle Fletcher becomes the Continental Champion.
Okay, I harped on it the past couple of weeks, and I'll do it again. The Continental Championship just doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know how you guys feel about the Continental Championship, but it doesn't mean anything to me. It really doesn't. I don't think that the story here is the Continental Championship at all. I think it has everything to do with the Don Callis family. Now, Rob, I do hope that what you said is true and that we do get a change in the Death Riders because Moxley loses. Here's my fear, is that the big story here is about the Don Callis family. There's 3 of them in the finals, and Jon Moxley. Kind of concerned Moxley's going to win here. Just some way, by hook or by crook. More than likely, the Don Callis family screwing each other over and over and over again, which leads to perhaps the whole story here is Fletcher, Takeshita, and Okada, and not just Okada and Takeshita. So I'm going to take Jon Moxley to beat Kyle Fletcher. I'm going to take Okada to beat Takeshita in a cheap kind of way. And then Takeshita costing Okada, and Jon Moxley is your new Continental Champion.
I don't hate that.
I do. I hate everything about that because if he has the Continental title, that means that he has a championship, and whether or not it means anything to us, it means something to the Death Riders. So yeah, I would hate that too.
But at the same time, I also just don't give a shit about the Continental Championship. So put it on Jon Moxley. I don't care, but it's not going to lead to anything with the Death Riders.
So my thing is, and maybe this is wishful thinking, but Don Callis, that Continental title means something too, because it's a bunch of mid-carders in his stable anyway. Might as well have a mid-card title. So I do think Takeshita's the odd man out in this, and once he beats Okada, Don Callis is going to be pissed at him, and he's going to screw him over for Fletcher to win.
I guess when I say I don't hate the idea of Moxley is, there's these 2 factions that both have potential infighting, and I think if it leads to Claudio and Moxley, maybe Claudio getting the Continental title, we are starting to get into a direction where maybe the Continental title would become more meaningful. I think we all agree anybody other than Okada should be walking out Sunday, and I think all those directions, though, do lead to the possibility that the title would be more interesting and maybe something that we could care about more.
So the problem with AEW, and they just added another title because it's no longer the unified title, they have 5 mid-card titles, not including Ring of Honor titles. 5 of them. It is hard to give a crap about any of them when there's 5 of them.
Yeah.
I cared about the TNT Championship when Kyle Fletcher had it, and now that Mark Briscoe has it, I don't at all.
Right, but that's because Kyle Fletcher had it. Not because of the TNT title, but because Kyle Fletcher had the TNT title. As the great Ric Flair once said, it's not the title that makes the man, it's the man who makes the title.
And that
I guess cut out in my prediction when I said he would be holding the Continental and TNT Championship. I totally forgot about Mark Briscoe.
So easily forgettable that there's a Marky later on that I should have picked him, and I didn't because I forgot it. All right. In the main event, Samoa Joe defends the championship against Swerve Strickland, Hangman Page, and a returning Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Let's before we talk about the match, let's talk about the return and the reasoning, and let's try and break down like why MJF would choose a fatal 4-way to cash in his contract. So we'll start with the return, which, if I'm honest, massive pop, huge, undeniable pop. The crowd is excited to see MJF, but the rest of it, I don't know, man.
So his promo when he is MJF last week on Dynamite is MJF, and you're like, yes, give me more of this. I think I kind of understand where MJF is coming from, because he signed that contract and said, I am doing this because I need to be great. And if you look at the 2 months that he was there before he left, Jeff Jarrett said his past years were behind him. And MJF's biggest fear is that his 20s are going to be better than his 30s. He loses to the chicken feeder Mark Briscoe. He hasn't had a decent win in how many ages? So I do understand why he did what he did, in a sense of a 32-year-old man who used to be on top of the world in his 20s is now losing everything. And why not try to make a statement? So I kind of agree with him. But I might have went about it a different way.
Yeah, I mean, I said it the day they changed the rules. I thought he should have been able to cash in. I think you could do everything that Rob said, and it would have made a little bit more sense with that part of the story. As far as Max, I mean, he's definitely a star, and him coming back is a lightning rod. The only problem with Max, and we've talked about this before with him, I remember we said this, or at least I said the same thing, when Mariah May was the women's champion, is like the one issue with Max is he comes out, he cuts these promos, and he's cutting them, he makes everyone else look like shit. And I don't think that's great. I get he's a heel, and I get where he's going, but at the same time, some of the lines I think get too tweener and too put down that people are starting to agree, and that's not really a great place to be. And I feel like every time we get to a certain point with Max, it's like he's got to turn babyface, but he doesn't want to turn babyface, and then it just creates, confusion in the market, I guess is the best way to put it, when it comes to where he stands. So that was my only thing with his return, is sometimes he comes across as a babyface.
I think that you feel that way because MJF is speaking his truth. His truth is arrogant and cocky and not exactly the truth, but it's MJF's truth. So it's coming across in a babyface way, but really everything he's saying is just reiterating the fact that he is a douchebag, 100%. So he's in the same vein as the Young Bucks and Carmelo Hayes, which we've talked about the last 2 weeks, where there's nothing he can do that would make me say he is a good guy, but we love him for being shitty.
I mean, when he was a babyface with Adam Cole, the fans would chant, he's our scumbag. He's the same person, whether he's a heel or a face. It just depends on who he's fighting with at the time. So I do get what you're saying, Bob, but at the same time, when I saw MJF in the Indies, he was doing the same things. When he came to AEW, he was doing the same things. This is who MJF is. I truly, honestly believe this is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. This is this guy. And whether you like it or you don't, this is what you're going to get with him. Whether you cheer him or boo him is up to you.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't disagree with anything you guys said. I guess, as far as the story and as far as the potential, I mean, Max is a star, but at the same time, what does that resonate to? I mean, he's really never been in that Hangman Page or John Moxley all-in moment where there's this huge money-making match. I mean, the Cole one, yes, he did main event and all-in, but what are the matches for MJF that have been built to a point that you're as excited as that one? And I think that's the problem with his character, is the tweener thing doesn't lead to these huge matches because, there just isn't that same feeling that you get for other ones, and that's the problem.
I will disagree with you again because the Punk MJF dog collar match was pretty heated, and that was a pretty big moment.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I
not
mean,
Moxley Hangman, but they've only had one of those to begin with. You
Yeah.
know, I'm just saying.
yeah, that was a good point.
Yeah, so let's predict the match. I'm unsure on this myself, so I want to hear you guys talk about it.
Go ahead, Rob.
I'm unsure about this too. It can go a couple of ways. I still say Swerve turns heel. I think Swerve being heel makes sense. I'm torn between either Joe retaining or MJF using a low blow to get the win. And I'm not sure which way it goes. So I'm going to go with my heart here because I think it's better off for AEW. If MJF becomes champion, I'm taking MJF.
Yeah, I'm taking MJF too. He's in the match for a reason. I think he's in the match to win the match. I think you could see, to your point about the Swerve turn, I could see, every single time Hangman's faced Samoa Joe, he's either beaten him or was in a position to win, and shenanigans happened. I think you can see that. I think that could be the finish, that Hangman has Joe beat. Swerve does something to not screw him. It's not illegal, but something to cause Hangman to not win or do something. Maybe that's where you get the turn. And then I think MJF picks up the pieces. I agree. MJF.
I mean, hearing you guys talk about it, it's kind of how I was feeling, but I wasn't really sure. It makes a lot of sense to have MJF in this match at all, unless he was going to win. It doesn't make sense because you could have used that contract any old time if he was just going to lose. So it makes absolutely no sense for him to come back and cash in for a fatal four-way and then lose. So I think we're going to get a new World Heavyweight Champion. It's going to be MJF, and MJF and Ospreay at All In is probably what we're going to build to.
Been a lot of them. I mean, Hangman's another one. Hangman chasing MJF is good too. But yeah, agreed.
It's what's best for business, as they.
Somebody
Which
says
means
that.
there's a 50% chance that AEW doesn't do it.
Yeah. Well, that's Worlds and I know everyone. What's that sound right now?
Sorry, closing my water bottle.
Got that.
Sound like
Unprofessional.
All right. And with that, we head over to the 2025 Marky Awards. Cue the music. All
Just
right.
added more music.
Let's get after it. I'm going off of our list that we have in front of us. I'm going to start at the bottom so that we end with Wrestlers of the Year. And our first Marky Award is for the Comeback Player of the Year. This is someone who was either down last year and then had a great this year, or they were hurt or gone or retired. Who knows? However you guys want to interpret it. That was essentially the Marky Award. This year's Comeback Player of the Year. We'll give Bob the first selection on this round.
I went, might be cheating because he's retired now, but I gave the Comeback Player of the Year to John Cena. The heel turn, everything. I mean, they'll be talking about 2025 John Cena probably for a long time, but having John Cena back definitely added to the product. It definitely added to the hype around everything. And, the first half was a little slow as far as the matches were concerned, but he definitely hit his stride after the summer, and there were some really good matches. So John Cena was my pick.
And Rob.
Yeah, so I went with the counterpart to John Cena, and I went with CM Punk. You think of the last 2 years that CM Punk's been in the WWE. He's been hurt. He hasn't really had like major feuds except for Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, but he was never in the main event scene. And this year, he headlined night one of WrestleMania. He headlined night one of SummerSlam. He won the belt twice. He is currently the world heavyweight champion. And he has had the year that CM Punk wanted to have when he came back was this year. So CM Punk gets my comeback player of the year.
Those are both fantastic selections. As we go through these marquees, you're going to find out that a lot of my picks were just, I'll call them, some of them are wild cards. Some of them wild cards. You guys took the two obvious ones, in my opinion, of Cena and Punk. So I went with Nigel McGuinness. Nigel McGuinness gets my comeback player of the year this year. I thought it was a great year for Nigel, not only getting back into the ring, getting that last match with Bryan Danielson, but being the best commentator in wrestling this year. Nigel McGuinness, it was a great 2025, and it's a pleasure to have him call matches and occasionally get involved in the ring. I thought he had a couple of really good, they were short, really good programs. Were they great matches? I'm not going to say they were great matches. He's pretty old now, and it's been a long time since he's wrestled. Not quite in the same shape, but I thought he had very entertaining programs, and he was the number one commentator in wrestling.
Yeah. His Zack Sabre Jr. match was a great British technical wrestling kind of match, so I'll give him that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, gentlemen, that's a great first selection for the marquees. Our next award goes to the face turn of the year. After you guys say yours, I just want you to tell me if you can name any other ones, because I couldn't come up with one. But go ahead, Rob. You can have the first selection.
I mean, it's, face turn of the year. He's going to come up a lot on my list. I thought he had the best 2025. Check out our YouTube video of our top 10 performers of 2025. It's going to be Hangman Page. I mean, he started off the year as a heel, and out of necessity, he became the hero that AEW needed. He won the Owen Hart Cup. He ended up beating Jon Moxley. He held that gold belt for the first time in about a year and a half that anybody did. And he has become the face of AEW. I know he lost the belt to Samoa Joe, but when everyone else was hurt, Hangman was their hero. So Hangman Page is my face of the turn of the year.
AEW's MVP. I agree with that.
Yep.
Yeah. I went with Charlotte Flair. I thought it was almost amazing that they were able to turn her babyface when you think about pre-WrestleMania and that Tiffany promo and that whole period of time. It seemed like an impossible task, and a lot of credit does go to Alexa Bliss, but I just thought that second half of the year, a babyface, and not a babyface that got jeered, it was a true babyface, was pretty surprising and a job well done. And she did a great job. Her and Alexa were a great addition to the women's tag team division, made people care about that title.
I can agree with that as well. And now, gentlemen, I could not come up with another face turn this year. Do you guys remember any that deserve any kind of mention?
So in AAA on Saturday, El Grande Americano became a face.
Well, he didn't seem like it on Monday Night Raw that I just watched this afternoon.
That's all I got. Well, he shook Ray's hand and, gave him a weird salute. But yeah, no. I really can't think of Christian Cage.
True.
That one, yeah.
Kinda.
I mean, depending on how you want to call it, was Roman a heel going into the year?
I excluded Roman Reigns from everything. I barely seen him.
That's a fair.
I wanted to say that this is probably the first year that we did a top 10 list that Roman Reigns would not be on our top 10 in a very long time.
Yeah, couldn't include.
I mean, somebody out there might have enjoyed John Cena's face turn.
Somebody might have. That's true.
We did pop in the SummerSlam crowd. It was a big explosion when the screen went blue. So
Yeah, but that was after the face turn.
yeah.
he face turned the week before. He's just like, yeah, I'm a good guy, John Cena again. I'm
Not
back.
even the week; it was the day before, wasn't
It was
it?
a day before it was SmackDown. The Rock left me, so I'm
Yeah.
face
All right.
now.
What about when Ron Killings turned back into R-Truth in the exact same way John Cena turned back into a good guy? He's just like, you know what, John? If you're a good guy, I'm a good guy too. I'm R-Truth again.
That was a bummer because I was enjoying
Yeah,
angry Ron Killings.
so when we started this list, we had the worst storyline of the year on that. I don't think we actually put that on here. I had Ron Killings' storyline as the worst storyline of the year because that was just pointless.
Was quite pointless. My man cut all his hair off for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Okay, here we go. Future star of the year. This is a guy who is bright but hasn't fully broken out yet. Bob, go ahead. First choice.
This is kind of maybe cheating because he did have the match at Saturday night's main event. I went with Obafemi just because he hasn't had consistent at that level type of opportunities. I mean, we talked about it last week. I think he should be not just called up, but called up and be in a serious role, especially on that SmackDown side. So I think his future is very bright.
Yeah. We talked about him a couple weeks ago, and I just want to bring him up again. Kevin Knight. I was talking to this guy on TikTok, and he said that Kevin Knight's so good that he should break away from Speedball and he should join the Hurt Syndicate and he should be in that faction. And I thought that was a very good idea. Kevin Knight with the bruisers of Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley, and Kevin Knight coming in and doing the acrobats. That would be a pretty fun thing. I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. But like you saw at the Continental Classic, he's putting on these top tier matches. You just got to get over that hump a little bit. I don't know if it'll happen, but I would love to see Kevin Knight as a single star out on his own.
Absolutely. I was planning to not go with the obvious here, and Kevin Knight was my choice. Of course, you had already picked him, so now I'm stuck going with the obvious, which is Javon Evans. My man is 21 years old, super charismatic. I said it probably about a month or two ago that Javon Evans is the Jeff Hardy Jey Uso could never be. I see so much Jeff Hardy level babyface in Javon Evans. I'm so excited for his future. I just hope that his future is basically the way I feel about Javon Evans right now is kind of similar to the way I felt about the Velveteen Dream in about 2015. And I hope we actually get this to reap the rewards of how we feel about Javon Evans, unlike what we got with the Velveteen Dream. I am not insinuating in any way, shape, or form Javon Evans is involved in any type of shit like that. I just meant like in general, like for any reason. I really just hope that I only bring this up because I have had this feeling about Javon Evans for really the last year that it just reminds me of so much of how I felt about the Velveteen Dream back then, that I really wish we could have gotten the Velveteen Dream up on the main roster. Unfortunately, the guy playing the character turned out to be kind of a scumbag. So
Ironically enough, because I look at this day in wrestling history every day, today is the last time the Velveteen Dream was on TV before they cut him.
Man, he was so goddamn fun, man.
Yeah, he was great. I'm worried about Javon Evans. He's got to break away from Leon Slater to reach that height, though, and he's young. So,
dude, are they actually in a tag team?
I mean, Leon Slater came out and helped him out against the Americanos.
Did he?
I think so.
No, I watched that
Did I
match.
do that?
Leon Slater did not get involved. The one on Monday Night Raw? Leon Slater was not there. Irregardless, Javon Evans is declared a free agent, so he's going to be on the main roster in 2026. So that's fun.
Good for him.
You just fucked me
Did I
up.
did I really make that up?
He definitely just won the match on his own.
I was gonna say, did we get like a Javon Evans heel turn that I missed or something?
Did I make that up?
You did. I'm confident that you did.
I'm not even on drugs and I'm making things up. Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, cut that.
I mean, he's probably going to be in NXT soon, but he's currently in TNA. I can't imagine them putting him on Monday Night Raw. That would be crazy. All right. Anyway, yeah, I'm pretty sure they just teamed for that show, and that was the only. Anyway, okay. What are we on? Who we want to see more of in 2026? This is something or an individual who hasn't quite gotten the screen time they deserve. Who picked first last? Bob did?
Yeah.
Rob, first choice.
I mean, I'm going to go with somebody we said already that I would love to get on AEW TV more, and that's Athena. She's been the Ring of Honor Forever champ forever, and it's time. I mean, she's the best thing that nobody knows about. She shows up. I think she showed up for 2 matches this year on actual AEW TV. It's time to give Athena the platform that she has deserved. I mean, you made her the champion forever. It's time to lose that and bring her up. Like I said, TBS champion against Mercedes Moné. Take that belt from her and let her have that forever. Why not?
It's kind of interesting because, like you just said, she's like the person no one's ever heard of or whatever. And I'm like, she was on like Monday Night Raw for a couple of years at least. However, she did do just so much losing that I'm with.
What
but
was
I'm
her name?
totally with you.
Ember Moon.
Ember Moon.
Yeah, Ember Moon.
I'm totally with you. Obviously, we talk about it all the time. Get her on AEW TV. I'm tired of this
Mhm.
shit. She's fantastic. And that's the thing that I wanted to say is that she is not the same person she was when she was Ember Moon. She's not. She's a different person. She's a different wrestler. Everything, I mean, not everything about her is different, but there's a lot. She's not the same person. And I want to see Athena on TV for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Bob, go ahead.
I kept with the women's side. I went with Julia. I think, especially on the SmackDown women's side, I don't understand why they don't do more with Julia. I thought as the United States champion, I thought she did a good job, and unfortunately that reign ended on a shitty match with Chelsea Green the way it happened, and really wasn't a ton, I feel like, on her side follow-up from that. So that is my pick.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think she had a match on SmackDown last week, and it was her first match since like the beginning of November, whenever she lost the U.S. title.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so that's crazy. I mean, absolutely. She's another one, just like Athena. Like, there is absolutely no reason she's not having a match every week. Absolutely no reason. She's great. And, maybe it's just keeping her away from Jade, and there's only so much time. That's why SmackDown needs to go to 3 hours, Bob. Get Julia on TV. All right. I want to see more of JD McDonough in singles matches. This man has been getting praised from some of WWE's top guys. I mean, AJ Styles talks about him. CM Punk talked about him. Cody Rhodes talked about him. The guy is fantastic, and he's been in this tag team with Finn Balor, who is also fantastic, for a few years now. Every time he has a singles match, it's like, oh my God, that match was incredible. I want to see JD McDonough break away. He doesn't have to break away from the Judgment Day per se, but I want to see JD get a singles run.
Anybody who punctures a lung during a match and still finishes that match deserves a little bit of a push. Just saying. That's commitment right there. I agree with you. JD McDonough puts on a hell of a show every time he's out there. And I don't know if he'll ever break away from the Judgment Day. Like, even if the Judgment Day stops, I think him and Finn will still be a thing. But he could go after the Intercontinental title. Why not? Who is the Intercontinental champion?
Dom.
Oh, there we go. That's perfect. Perfect.
He is injured allegedly. Although was Raw pre-taped this week?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He is seriously injured allegedly. So
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think in any company the only thing that's live this week is World's End.
mm.
Thanks a lot, Tony Khan. Just kidding. All right, gentlemen, go away, Heat. This is the award for the person we just don't want to see anymore. Bob, you're up.
There was a lot of good contenders for this one, including the idea of the third hour of SmackDown. But ESPN Unlimited being the host of these pay-per-views, but I went with the Wyatt Six. I am just, it's not doing it for me. I mean, it's just not. And, it's sucking up time of that tag team division that I wish they would do more for. I just think it's a bad recreation of a once great act, and I don't want to see any more of it.
The feud for the tag team titles is between two stables pretending to be worse versions of other stables. I just want to point that out. I agree. The Wyatt Six needs to go away. At least get rid of get the tag titles off of them. I'm gonna go, and we talked about this before, and apparently I'm not cool anymore. Nikki Bella needs to leave. I'm tired of her. I'm tired of her saying that she was a legend. We talked about before about her legend aura, and does she actually have legendary aura? She's not a good wrestler. She never was a good wrestler. And she keeps saying that she deserves to be in these title matches, even though she loses every title match that she's in. Like, I'm sorry, you no longer get to be there. And she's butted into Raquel Rodriguez and Stephanie Vaquer's business because she's Nikki Bella. I'm sick of it. I don't want to see her anymore. It's not entertaining to me. Go away, Nikki Bella.
You are going to be absolutely miserable when she becomes the women's champion on Monday night.
I will be. I will be.
I am like, the first time it was one-on-one, Stephanie and Nikki, I was 99% sure Stephanie was winning this match. I am in a 2 out of, there's 3 people, so 33% is like dead even. I am like 55% sure Nikki Bella is winning this match.
Well, it's the MJF theory from earlier. If she, what the hell is she doing in this match if she's not winning? I mean, when she came out and disrupted the match a week or two ago, I was like, who the hell? I didn't even realize who it was because I was like, what the hell is she doing there? And then when finding out she's in this match, I can't imagine what else she's doing other than winning.
So you're telling me there's a good chance Nikki Bella is the champion going into WrestleMania?
No, no, no. But she is going to win the championship, and she might lose it to AJ Lee, guys. She might lose it to AJ Lee. I don't know. They have to do something else with these women's championships right now, because as good as Stephanie Vaquer is, the title is not being booked well. She's not having good matches because she's wrestling Raquel Rodriguez and Nikki Bella. The women's championship, I don't know when that's been defended, if it's ever going to be, since Jade's got it. It seems
It seems like they don't really know what they want to do with either of them. I mean, Stephanie's kind of hit or miss on the show sometimes, and then Jade, after she won the title, we said about how good the heel and the change in the dynamic, and it hasn't really materialized.
I think the biggest problem right now is they're trying to up the women's tag team division, that all your stars are in the women's tag team division right now. And unfortunately, who you got left going after these titles is Mid Carter's and Nikki Bella. So
detriment.
Yeah. So, I mean, I commend them for trying to get the tag titles up to snuff, but it's hurting your actual titles right now.
That's why that exact point is why I've never been a fan of these extra secondary women's tag team, even the Intercontinental US champion, because it's taking up space to try to have that one elevated and there's too many titles I'm sorry, there's too many titles. There's just not enough women that can be in all these different spots, and you're always having one that sucks because it's either the tag titles aren't very good, or now the women's top division is not very good.
I just wanted to just clarify all of our listeners, because we are an all-inclusive podcast. You can say exactly what you just said about the women for the men as well. Who's the U.S. champion right now?
Ilya.
Technically, or as far as the shows.
Bob, what the fuck?
No, I did see that spoiler days ago, actually. Now that you guys bring it up, I do know that.
Who is it?
Carmelo Hayes.
Oh, good.
Which, by the way, I predicted last week.
You did. Good.
Irregardless of that.
That's actually the exact reason I took him off of See More of in 2026, because I was like, guess we're going to see more of him.
Spoilers. Oh yeah. Yeah. So good for Carmelo Hayes. Normally we don't get spoilers, but since everything's taped this week, I mean, I'm okay with that.
This is probably dropping on Friday, so just don't listen to it before 8:00 if you're.
But to his point of the men's is that the men have tag teams. Like we have the New Day, we have the Usos, we have the War Raiders, DIY, we have all these guys. The women don't really have tag teams. They never really had tag teams. You know, can you name me a tag team any other than the Bella Twins? But they weren't really tag team either. Like, give me a tag team since the Iconics. The Iconics were an actual tag team. Right. The rest of the tag teams were just kind of thrown together. Now, the Kabuki Warriors, maybe, but they were just kind of thrown together because they were Japanese and together. So,
yeah, I mean, as far as true tag teams, you got the Kabuki Warriors, and then I would consider the Judgment Day a tag team at this point. I mean, combination of them. But yeah, no, I agree. And they have the men. They have the men to have a good tag team division. They choose not to have a tag team division. To my point,
they brought in the tag teams to have a good tag team division. I said it before. If I'm the Motor City Machine Guns, I'm asking myself, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah.
Collecting a paycheck because I'm 45.
Well, yeah,
true. Yeah.
All right, so I this award to, this is all encompassing. Nikki Bella goes into it as well. Everybody who has retired and then came back, I need to not see anymore. This includes Edge. This includes Christian. This includes, go ahead.
What about Punk?
He doesn't count. He didn't retire. This is different. Nikki Bella is in the fucking Hall of Fame. Can you imagine a guy in the NFL getting elected into the Hall of Fame and then saying, you know what? I'm coming back for one more year. That does not happen. If you're
Philip Rivers could have.
The Hall of Fame, you should not be coming back to wrestle.
I mean, Philip Rivers.
I agree with your point. I will say there's one asterisk that I would put there is I don't think Bryan Danielson could ever be too old for me to say he can't come back.
So actually, and I'm sorry, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. I understand, but Bryan Danielson is another one. I don't want to hear him on commentary anymore. He annoys the shit out of me. I don't want to hear him anymore. Leave Nigel on the commentary team. Stop putting Bryan Danielson on it because he's a pretentious asshole, but he acts like he's not.
He's our pretentious asshole, though. He's speaking his truth.
We got canceled.
I'm not a fan.
The IWC just canceled us. Thanks, Ram. Appreciate it.
Bryan Danielson was a terrific professional wrestler. He does not need to be on commentary. Go home, be with your family, enjoy retirement.
Yeah, I always thought he was a pretentious douche. So, like all his interviews, he just comes off as a douche.
He collects his poop and uses it as compost. I don't want to hear him on my TV anymore. Sorry about it.
Fickle.
Sorry about it. All right, gentlemen. Breakout star of the year. This is kind of like the future star, except this person has already broken out. Go ahead, Rob.
I'm going to go with a year ago, we were calling him Take a Shitta. I'm going with Takeshita. I am. I think he put a rocket to this man to the moon, make him the IWGP and AEW World Heavyweight Champion. That's what I want to see. The man is that damn good.
Great. 100% agree. This was the only award that I allowed myself to give co-champions to because I just could not choose. I thought, and exactly the reasoning Rob said last year on this podcast when we did the awards, future stars I'm not sure if we said Takeshita, but I definitely know we said Kyle Fletcher. And I felt like this year both of them broke out. Kyle Fletcher main evented a pay-per-view. Takeshita has been all over the place having great matches. IWGP World Champion. I thought the two of them just really did follow the evolution that you want to see. Great year.
Great choices across the board, Bob. I have to ask you about one of your honorable mentions after I give my choice. My choice is Roxanne Perez. Do you guys know that Roxanne Perez, amongst all wrestlers, WWE, AEW, Roxanne Perez wrestled the most matches on AEW and WWE? I'm sure Mercedes had a million matches outside of the main programming, but
So televised matches?
in terms of wrestling matches on weekly programming, Roxanne Perez had the most matches and the most wins. I thought she was a MVP for the women's division this year. I thought that a break glass, like if you need something, put him in the ring with Roxanne Perez. They're gonna have a great match, a great performance. I thought she was terrific, and she's the prodigy for a reason. Breakout star of the year on the marquees, Roxanne Perez.
Definitely. I can't disagree with you.
Okay, real quick though, Bob, you put down as an honorable mention Dominic Mysterio as your breakout star of the year. He was a breakout star of the year last year, my guy. Last year. He is way more than a breakout star, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Dominic Mysterio should not be honorable mention for. I can't believe you put. If you were going to have him on the list, you should have been like, I picked 3 guys: Fletcher to Mysterio.
You know, I was not the honorable mention I thought we were going to talk about.
I didn't think that's
Which one were you going to talk about, Raquel?
Yeah, I thought we were going to bitch that she was even on the list for the other way around.
I think, honorable mention.
I can't judge you for your opinions, but I can judge you for putting Dominic Mysterio in a category.
That's fair. Dom might not have been a good fit there, but as far as Raquel, I will say this. I think she has improved from, I feel like, I forget when she had that street fight match with Rhea Ripley. I feel like the matches have gotten better. I see more improvement in her. Like we talked about Maxine. I've actually seen it with Raquel. I don't know. I know on the internet, it's the Kevin Nash saying something and now she's working bigger. Maybe that's it. But I would probably a wrong category for her, but I think
if there was a most improved, I would think about her. Breakout star, I don't know about that one.
Right. Breakout star was probably a wrong category, but if we had a most improved, I would have.
Right.
Okay, I don't agree with any of that, but that's okay. That's your opinion. You're allowed to have it. I think Raquel is dreadful in every aspect, on the mic, in the ring, standing there and saying nothing. I find Raquel dreadful, but that's just my opinion. That's the beauty of wrestling. It's all subjective. The moment of the year, Bob, you have the first choice.
I think it's the moment that when you think about 2025, you're going to think of. It's the easy choice, but it's John Cena turning heel. Never thought it would happen, especially the way it happened. If you just select the moment in time with The Rock and Travis Scott, the end of that match, that's a moment that will live in wrestling fans' heads forever.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, Bob, but I think that's the last pay-per-view we watched together.
Yes, and that is correct.
We experienced that together, and it was kind of like, I remember it because it was kind of like, whatever, they're going to hug it out. And then he actually kicked him in the balls, and I was like, no way that just happened. We were freaking out in my living room. It was a fantastic moment. It Really was.
Well, especially when you think about the match before it of itself, where we were hoping CM Punk would be facing Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and then also the storyline of Cody's soul. We were talking about Cody's soul at that time, so the outside chance that maybe Cody was the one that would go with The Rock. So yeah, hell of a moment.
Yes, it was. All right, Rob, what's your choice?
So I'm a little biased. I was in the crowd for it. It was a fantastic moment. Seth Rollins cashing in his money in the bank at SummerSlam, taking off the crutches, pulling the Chris Jericho pose, ruining CM Punk's night. It was the whole stadium just erupted. And it's one of those moments like we're walking out of the tunnel in MetLife and everyone's singing the song. It was a great moment that a heel screwed everything up. But being there with the crowd and all that, probably my highlight of 2025.
Very cool. Mine's not necessarily a moment. Kind of like a whole stretch of moments, a whole series of moments. Naomi's heel turn already got some love on the show, but I'm gonna give love here, like that entire stretch where she became the champion. First she turned heel, then she cashed in the Money in the Bank right after losing to Jade, which is always what happens with the Money in the Bank. Then she had that triple threat match with Io and Rhea, which she won. The entire heel run after that, all the way leading up to where she announced that she was pregnant, another fantastic moment. I just thought, doing top 10 for Wrestler of the Year, Rob had Naomi on the list. My first thought was Naomi, like she missed so much of the year. And then I looked back and I saw that happened in August, that she left in August. That she was pregnant and that she had to step away. So really it was a large chunk of the year where Naomi was a huge fixture on WWE program, even before the heel turn, when it was, she was just pretty much buddy and with Jade and Bianca, which if like to think about that now, I feel like I haven't seen Bianca Belair in 2 years. And that was this year. That happened this year. Bianca was there. So I think that entire run from Naomi was great. It was both a blessing and a curse, obviously, for Naomi getting pregnant because she was on the best run of her career. And then she had that joy of, she's having her first child. And I'm very curious to see when she comes back and how they treat it when she comes back. I hope we kind of get back into the character she was playing where she was calling all the women in the back heifers and stuff like that, because I thought that was brilliant. I thought Naomi was doing a great job. So I'm curious to see where it comes back, but that's my moment.
Yeah.
The return of the year, Rob, you have the first choice.
Another moment I was there for. There wasn't a lot of returns that I sat there. A lot of returns this year were just like, hey, he's back. Cool. Swerve coming back at Full Gear. This is the most recent one, and so it's fresh in my mind. Cool moment. We were all still in shock in the crowd that Samoa Joe actually beat Hangman. And all of a sudden the lights go out, the house starts burning on the Titantron, and you see Prince Nana dancing, and all of a sudden it's Swerve looking 40 pounds heavier and really, really pissed off. So Swerve coming back. We'll see what happens in 2026, what they do with him. But for that moment right there of him coming back, that's my return of the year.
Yeah, there was a couple good ones this year. I went with Brock returning at SummerSlam. I think from the shock value to something no one expected at all, that return at the end of night 2 to me was the return of the year.
Fair enough. I went with Liv Morgan. I said it right after she came back, made the return. She's an absolute star, and the show is better just for having her be there. While the moment itself was a little awkward, however, a nod to John Cena's heel turn. I thought just just Liv being there, having her back has been a blessing, and she gets my return of the year this year. So here we go. Feud of the year. We have a lot of marquees, which I'm finding out right now. But the feud of the year, gentlemen, Rob, you have the first. No, Bob, you have the first choice.
My feud of the year was Hangman and Moxley. I just think, a feud developing to a the key to a feud obviously is you want to get it in the ring, and to me that was the biggest big time match of the year, and I think that feud was great. Everyone's feelings of wanting to see Hangman beat John Moxley. It's what it's all about.
Rob?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go to the other company, the feud that will never die, and since one's on the shelf, it's still gonna continue next year. It's gonna be Punk and Rollins, starting in February in the Elimination Chamber main event at WrestleMania. I already said about the cash in, the screw over, the wives being involved. It's been a roller coaster of a ride, some ups, some downs, but all in all, just a very good feud and the best one WWE has had this year.
Agreed. I went with Fletcher and Osprey from way back at the beginning of the year. However, the heel turn from Kyle Fletcher, I don't know why I just like that visual of him shaving his head seemed stupid at the time, but now it sticks out so much in my head as like a monumental thing that happened. The matches that they had together, specifically that steel cage match, which more on that to come as well, where Kyle Fletcher went dick first onto the tacks. You guys know I'm not a huge fan of bloody matches and matches with all kinds of crazy stabbings and shit. This one was great, and right up there with the best matches of the year. So Fletcher and Osprey, which is another one that I assume, based off of their history, it's going to be a forever feud that they can always go back to anytime they need something.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, can be a feud in 2026.
All right. Now we're getting into a little bit of a negative here. The worst pay-per-view of the year. First choice, Rob.
Big entry on ESPN, our first ever ESPN PLE. Triple H does a 30-minute monologue about nonsense, and then we get WrestlePalooza, and it's awful. Just a complete and utter letdown. And anybody trying to get into WWE from the ESPN side that watched that probably didn't watch the next one.
Yeah, and if they did, then they would be choosing my worst pay-per-view of the year, Survivor Series. I thought that's something awful, to be honest. It was not good, and I was reviewing some of the pay-per-views to make a choice, and the more you dissect that, especially after the fact, that was a pretty rotten show.
Yeah, and everything that went back into it. If you listen back to the podcast to when we were talking about the lead up to that War Games Survivor Series, it was putrid. It was dreadful. There was no point in having a War Games, and the War Games match themselves kind of showed. However, the women's one was okay, and the men's one was. You put the 10 biggest stars you had into a ring and hoped for the best, and it didn't deliver. I thought that was terrible, and I couldn't think of one worse to do it justice other than the two you guys just mentioned. So I just put War Games. All right. Following that up with the best pay-per-view of the year. Rob, go ahead. First choice.
I'm going to take All In. All In might have been AEW's best pay-per-view of all time. It was definitely the best story they've ever done. Everything made sense. The build-up to it was great. The payoff was great. Everything you wanted in a big pay-per-view for the year was done at All In. I give kudos to AEW for All In. The follow-up after it probably wasn't the best, but that moment right there in the whole pay-per-view, top-notch effort by AEW.
Yeah, I thought that was my choices too, all in. I thought the lead up to that, I mean, definitely during that period of time, AEW felt like, obviously popularity wise, ratings, all that crap, but just as far as being hot, Hangman and Moxley, Tony and Mercedes, the Bucks against Swerve and Osprey. I mean, the pay per view delivered. The lead up was exciting, and then when the show came, it was great. So totally agree.
Couldn't agree more. I went my choice for pretty much the pay-per-view that most exceeded my expectations, which was the all-women's pay-per-view Evolution 2. We went into that saying, don't really care about this pay-per-view at all, and then we watched it, and it was fantastic. So I went with Evolution, specifically the main event. The tag team of the year, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. Bob?
With FTR, I thought they had a great year. I know just recently they got the tag team titles, but really complete year from the beginning, working with Adam Copeland as the trio to then splitting from Adam Copeland, which was a great, that was another great heel turn. The number they did on him and just consistent matches. I thought the mic work was great. I know you'll probably give Dax his flowers at some point, and now they're the champions, which is great as well. So excited for them into 2026.
I am going to, and another heel turn, which could have been on our list. I am going to go with thank God for the New Day. I think the direction change has been great. They always put on good matches, but it's not so much the matches with the New Day anymore as it is you just want to listen to them talk. Also, a bonus of them on commentary is probably some of the greatest commentary of all year. So I think the New Day, for what they've done this year and the direction they've gone, have been killing it. So I'm going to take the New Day as the tag team of the year.
Awesome. Yeah. Running a little long, so let's get through a couple of these and we can divulge a little more when we get to the ones that really matter. I went with Bro Dito. Thought they had a terrific year. Obviously, FTR is the best tag team in the world right now. Dax Harwood was a top 10 performer this year. You can't tell me otherwise. Great choice, but I thought Bro Dito, considering they weren't a tag team at all at the beginning of the year to where they ended up being, a very overact. I give Bro Dito the deal. All right, the worst women's match of the year. We don't have to take too much time on these. Just go ahead. Rob?
Chelsea Green and Julia for the U.S. title. Nonsense.
Yeah, I mean that's a great choice. I did mine more as the bigger matches of the year, so I went with Stephanie versus Nikki Bella at Survivor Series. That was a ugly cherry on top of an ugly pay-per-view.
Absolutely. I gave the nod to a botch fest of a triple Jack Tiffany Street, which took place on SmackDown and was terrible. Terrible.
Horrible.
All right, going to the worst match of the year for the men.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Cody and Cena at WrestleMania. Same mindset. I mean, that was a huge, big time hyped match. Super letdown. One of Cody's worst matches in probably 10 years.
Yeah, I'm going to take another John Cena match because in hindsight, it was absolutely pointless with 5 dates left. John Cena versus Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza. Absolutely no reason for it.
Great choices. Great choices. I gave this award to a March 17th episode of Monday Raw. It was a match that lasted about 45 seconds between Jey Uso and Austin Theory. I implore you both to go onto YouTube and look up this match. It will only take 5 minutes of your time, including entrances, and Jey Uso was yeeting all over the place. but this was on the build up to Jey Uso winning the World Heavyweight Championship, which kind of blew my mind that also happened this year over Gunther at WrestleMania. And they chose to, you just have to see it. It was if a squash match can be deemed absolutely terrible, was the squash match to watch. I implore you to go watch it. Jey Uso delivered a spear that Michael Cole said, oh, he hit him with a crossbody. Resulted in the 1, 2, 3.
I do remember that now.
Here. All right, let's get into some bests now. The best women's match of the year. Rob, you're first.
I'll let Bob have my first pick, but the triple threat at WrestleMania, Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, tore the house down, never stopped. 20 minutes of pure fun action. My top pick.
Yeah, that was another one of my choices too. That was a great match. I went with the Hollywood ending, Tony Storm, Mariah May. Was one of the potential feuds of the year that I had on my list, and thought that was a perfect way to cap off that feud.
Yeah, I went with the main event of Evolution, Rhea Ripley against Io Sky, which had the Naomi cash-in in it as well. By far the best women's match of the year. I couldn't believe I was the third person to pick on this, and you guys didn't pick it, because that was by far the best women's match of the year, including the Hollywood ending. That was a better story, but the match itself, this was by far the best.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I forgot Evolution happened this year.
That's because
There's been so much wrestling, I completely forgot about it.
You're a sexist asshole. Okay.
Maybe. Cut
Best
that.
best men's match of the year. No way. This is our shtick. It's our banter. You guys say anything negative about or like you forgot about a women's thing, and I tell you you're sexist. We're all inclusive podcast. It's okay. Best men's match of the year. Rob, first choice. No, Bob. Bob
yeah.
first.
I went with full circle moment. I went with Cody and Cena at SummerSlam. A lot of great choices, but I just felt like that almost to me was, I mean, the John Cena retirement match was good, but that was like just perfect. So
I had something down here, but I'm going to take Bob's honorable mention because you want everything that AEW is. It was the Mox Hangman match at All In. You want violence, you want action, you want storytelling. It had it all. I'm going to take the Mox Hangman match.
Great choice. I went with the aforementioned Fletcher Ospreay steel cage match. It's one to go back and watch again if you've only seen it once, because those two made you believe they legitimately can't stand each other, and they delivered in that match. Okay, female wrestler of the year. Only 2 marquees to go. Female wrestler of the year. Rob, first choice.
Now, since I got first choice, I'm going to take her. She's been involved in every storyline possible in AEW. I'm going to take Toni Storm, the Timeless One. Just overall sensational year, and 2026 should be no different for her.
I don't care. I'm taking Toni Storm too. It would be an injustice not to. No, she's been great. I mean, I think she's the best character in the world right now, and great matches to go along with it.
Fair enough. Well, I'm going to change my pick since nobody else said her. I kind of threw a wild card in there, like I said before, and I was going to have an explanation. But instead, I get to give it to Io Sky because she is the best wrestler on the face of the planet. I don't care what gender you are. Don't give a crap how athletic you are. Don't give a crap what you're capable of doing in the ring. Io Sky is the best in-ring performer in the world.
Fair.
That brings us to the main event, our final marquee of the year for 2025. The best male performer in the industry. This is Bob, first choice, right?
Yes, I'm going with a man that a lot of people probably have a lot of opinions on with this choice, but I'm going with John Moxley. I just think throughout the year, Moxley's been the ace through the hard times early on. His feud with Adam Copeland was not what people were looking for, but he kept driving through with that storyline, and it led to the biggest match probably AEW's ever had. And it was a match that, John Moxley as a heel, his job's make people want him to lose the title. And that is how everyone felt it all in. And I think he did a hell of a job. And I think that the stuff he's done after, while sometimes it's not perfect, I thought has been good and a very interesting part of the show. And throughout all the ups and downs, he's consistently had good matches.
I'm going to run that down after Rob says his.
Graham, first off, I can't believe you have the men main eventing over the women, you sexist bastard. With what you just said about John Moxley, without John Moxley, we couldn't have the year that Adam Hangman Page had. I said before, he's been AEW's champion. He's been their hero. And when everyone else got hurt, Swerve, Ospreay, MJF left, Hangman carried the company on his back. My brain seriously just turned off for a second. Hangman carried the company on his back, and he deserves all the recognition in the world for them having what I would consider their best year from January to December.
I don't disagree with what Rob just said at all. At all. Bob, you on the other hand, we got to talk about this because we spent 6 months bitching about how much we couldn't stand John Moxley shit anymore. And you just made him your wrestler of the year. Hold on, I'll let you come back after I give out my award, okay? Because here's the deal. Regardless of what our We Are Mark's official top 10 list said, the best wrestler this year, the most entertaining wrestler, the guy who every time he's on my screen, something entertaining happens. I enjoy every moment of it. I look at it like this. Regardless of how you're booked, you can be given a mile like Cody Rhodes, and you might smack he's smacking a few singles. He might have a double in there a couple of times. He might have a few doubles. Dominic Mysterio is the best wrestler this year, without a doubt in my mind, because every single time he's given anything, it is a home run. He is given a scrap, and he puts it over the fence. Everything he did this year was the most entertaining thing on the show. He wasn't a world champion, so he's not in that realm of CM Punk where it was like, oh, he was he carried the show on his back. He wasn't like Hangman. He carried the show on his back because he was the world champion. No, he was the Intercontinental Champion. He had fantastic program after fantastic program after fantastic program, sometimes with guys who had no business being involved in a fantastic program. Dominic Mysterio is a marquee spot on the card, and he did that this year because he broke out last year and he turned himself into a legitimate, massive star. Dominic Mysterio is the Marky Award winner from me for the best male performer of the year.
I couldn't agree more. That's why he was my honorable mention breakout star of the year.
This fucker.
I mean, yeah, Dom had a great year. He did. It's just he did not carry the company on his back like Hangman did.
Because he wasn't the world champion. That's the only reason. The only reason. If Hangman Page wasn't the world champion, you wouldn't feel that way.
Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't.
Because that's booking. That has nothing to do with who is the best performer. That is a opinion you have because of the way they were booked.
So let me ask you something. If Dominic Mysterio was booked to just be an opening act, almost like a comedy act,
is he?
I mean, kind of is.
I think he's being booked like lie, cheat, and steal Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero, right. Which was kind of a comedy act until he became world champion.
Hey, I don't give a shit. I don't care if you're a comedy act. I don't care if you're serious. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Every single time you're on my screen, there's like a percentage bar. Okay, there's a percentage bar. I would say every time John Moxley was on my screen, I was entertained 40% of the time. I would say Hangman Page 75% of the time. Dominic Mysterio 100.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And I'll stand by that to the day I die. 2025 was the year of Dominic Mysterio, and we'll have to see if it gets any better than that. It might not. It might not. This might be the tippy top level Dominic Mysterio can get to, which is a great spot to be in, but never a world champion. That could be Dominic Mysterio. Could be his best year. But all I'm saying is that, in my opinion, the best act year round this year was Dom.
I don't disagree. I think there's a decent chance that he does become a world champion. I could see it in 2026, to be honest. I'm not saying main event WrestleMania, but during a potential lull, post WrestleMania, or during those kind of slower times, I could totally see Dom getting that first world title.
He could be champion for WrestlePalooza.
Yeah.
He could be the champion. I would like to just rewind like 2 or 3 years. I don't remember the exact timeline of when Dominic Mysterio first was joining the Judgment Day, and you two fools hated it. You did not like Dominic Mysterio. Tired of Dominic. You probably would have given him go away heat. But there was one guy, this guy right here, who was like, no, this is gold. This is amazing. Dominic is terrific. And now look where we are today. Sometimes I'm smart.
I can't believe we've been doing this for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I think we just hit like the 3-year mark.
Holy crap.
Now, granted, I will admit that the first 2 years were a little rocky. We weren't very consistent, but we're getting there.
Definitely.
Yeah,
we get the Marky for most improved, I think.
Yeah, we get the mark for most improved. I agree. Our show has taken some evolutions, and one of those evolutions is coming back next week because we are having a special New Year's Eve episode where we will do nothing but break down what happened at World's End and play the game. I know all of our OG fans, all three of them, all three are pumped for the comeback of the game. It's going to be all stuff that happened in 2025. So it's not going to be any trying to pull out
Ivory versus Molly Holly.
I can't remember the guy's name. Dino Bravo. There's not going to be any Bravo answers on the show. But we are going to be back next week. Thank you for joining us for the 2025 Marky Awards. After you watch this video on YouTube, if you see it on Spotify, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Let me know how stupid I am for wanting Bryan Danielson to never be on my TV again. Let Bob know how stupid he is for having Dominic Mysterio as an honorable mention for his breakout star. And until then, enjoy wrestling.
Bob brought